عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له قيوم السماوات والأراضين وأشهد أن محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عبد الله ورسوله أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we thank the Almighty Allah for another opportunity to be here. We thank Him for His mercies that He's bestowed upon us. We bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except the Almighty Allah alone. And we bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and His messenger. Whosoever the Almighty Allah guides is really guided, and whoever goes astray has nobody to blame but themselves. Today is a Friday, the 22nd day of Sha'ban, 1446 years after the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which corresponds with the 21st day of February 2025. Alhamdulillah, the Almighty Allah in His infinite mercies has given us another opportunity to be here. We thank Him for that. And I always say that anytime you find yourself as a Muslim on a Friday at this time of the day in a masjid, Allah is a ni'mah from the Almighty Allah. There are some other Muslims, they have other priorities on Jum'ah at this time. This is not to mock them or to look down upon them, but rather as a word of caution for myself and all of us that Jum'ah is a special time. And whatever activities we find ourselves in, we should try as much as possible to put Jum'ah first. I was told of a story of a Muslim brother in UK who went to see the doctor, and they had to do surgery on him. But the doctor told him that he's overweight, he needs to lose some weight before be able to go through with the process. A month later, the brother goes back to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Thank you very much for following my instructions, because I can see that you've lost weight and you're doing well. And the brother told him, I didn't follow none of your instructions. And then he said, how come? What happened? He said, I followed the instructions of Ramadan. Whatever instructions you gave me to lose weight, it was at the doors of Ramadan. And the Almighty Allah has said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. The Almighty Allah had ordered us Muslims to fast in the month of Ramadan. So it is not through your directions, it's through the directions of the Almighty Allah. And I went through the month of Ramadan. And the doctor told him that if you continue with this fasting twice a week for the next 6 weeks, we might not even need to do any surgery on you. And the Muslim brother told him, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam has taught us to fast Mondays and Thursdays. So yet again, it is not going to be an instruction from you. It is still going to be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the doctor said, is this really your religion? Is this Islam? And the Muslim brother told him, yes, this is our religion. Eventually, the doctor had to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. My brothers and sisters, the Almighty Allah, when He created us for one purpose, for us to worship Him. In Surah Al-Dhariyat, He said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. The Almighty Allah is saying, I didn't create human beings nor jinn kind for any other purpose, but for them to worship me. And the Almighty Allah didn't leave us just like that for us to figure it out on our own. He sent to us throughout history messengers and prophets to guide us to the Almighty Allah. And apart from sending the messengers and the books, the Almighty Allah gave us seasons through which we can get closer to the Almighty Allah. So for us Muslims, the Almighty Allah has already programmed everything for us. He's programmed everything for us. Listen, with all due respect, how to go to the toilet itself, we've been taught how to go to the toilet. The Jews in Medina were teasing the Muslims that, look, Muhammad teaches you everything, even how to go to the toilet. And the Muslims tell them that is how detailed our religion is. That the Almighty didn't leave anything out. Just think of any human endeavor, and there is either a verse of the Holy Quran or a hadith that speaks either directly or indirectly about it. Any human endeavor. This tells you how sophisticated Islam is. Sheikh Abdul Hamid Kishk rahimahullah, in one of his lessons, spoke about an Egyptian journalist, Muslim, who went to Germany for some conference, and then he had this conversation with a German journalist about religion, about life and stuff. And this Muslim, journalist was telling this German that, for us in the Muslim world, our number one problem is Islam. Number one problem is Islam. He said, yes. Our backwardness, our waywardness, our this, and then he was complaining. And this German journalist looked at him with disrespect and disdain, because he knew something about Islam that this Muslim guy himself didn't know. And then he told him, can you escort me somewhere? Let's go somewhere. They went to a hospital, and then in front of just by the door of the theaters where they have the surgery, there is a statement that reads like this in Arabic language: ما ملأ آدمي وعاء شر قط من بطني بحسب ابن آدم أكلات يقمن صلبا فإن كان لا محالة فثلث لطعامه وثلث لشرابه وثلث لنفسه. This translates that the human being had never filled up a container or a bag or a pouch more dangerous than his tummy. That there is nothing in this world more dangerous for you to fill it up to brim like this tummy. And then the Prophet Muhammad, this is a hadith, the Prophet Muhammad went on to say that the human being needs a few morsels just to keep him alive. But if, some of us, we need to pile, some people, you see them at the buffets, you think they're eating to die tomorrow. Almighty Allah safeguard us. The Prophet said, if there's no chance you have to eat, just divide the stomach into three. فَثُلُثٌ لِشَرَابِ فَثُلُثٌ لِطَعَامِهِ 1/3 for his food, 1/3 for his water or drink, and then 1/3 for his breathing. Some people eat and they can't breathe. So this German showed this Muslim this statement in the hospital in Germany right in front of a theater. And then this German asked him, and underneath it they wrote Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the German asked this Muslim, who is this Muhammad? And the Muslim told him, Nabiyuna, he is our prophet. And then he said this statement 14 centuries ago. And to date, that statement is still relevant. And you think your problem is Islam? No, your problem is you. Islam is not your problem. And then he told him, I'm saddened to tell you that the body of Islam is found in your countries, but the spirit of Islam is found in our countries. And with all due respect, this is the problem that the Muslim world faces today. The body of Islam is found with us Muslims, but the spirit of Islam is found with non-Muslims. It's sad, but it's the reality. Right now, I want to do a fast one on you. But some of the non-Muslims, they are just people. Some of them. With Almighty Allah safeguards. George Bernard Shaw, I think an Irish journalist in the 19th century said that if Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was alive today in the 20th century, he will solve the problems of the day just by drinking a cup of coffee. But Muslims today, the rules and regulations and the lifestyle of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is something that we've put behind us. We don't have time for it. You know, we do supermarket shopping of the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you go to the supermarket, you want to buy some stuff, you don't buy everything there. You pick and choose which one you want. That's how we deal with the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We pick and choose which one suits us. And then we try to find all kinds of excuses for that. And then we wonder why we are always in problems, we are always in suffering, we are always, anxious, we are always depressed. It's because we've put aside the teachings of the Almighty Allah, and then we think we can figure it on our own. One of the seasons that the Almighty Allah has given us for us to get closer to Him is just around the corner. The month of Ramadan is coming in. 6 days. 7 days maximum, month of Ramadan is here. And the Almighty Allah has given us this month of Ramadan as an opportunity to get us closer to Him. It's an opportunity for us to make amends. It's an opportunity for us to renew our covenant with the Almighty Allah. It's an opportunity for us to strengthen our bonds with the Almighty Allah. It's an opportunity for us to strengthen our own social ties. It's an opportunity for us to get healthy. It's an opportunity for us to be better people. It's an opportunity for us to get closer to the Almighty Allah, for us to get to Jannah. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 2 people accepted Islam at the same time. After some time, one of them died through jihad fi sabilillah. A year later, the second brother died in his sleep. And I think Umar ibn Khattab saw 2 of them in Jannah, but the brother who died in his sleep a year later was in a greater Jannah than the brother who died through jihad fi sabilillah. And Umar ibn Khattab was asking the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, how did this happen? We know that jihad is, the creme de la creme, as the French would say, of Islam. So how is it that he who has died through jihad fi sabilillah is in a lower Jannah than the brother who died in his sleep? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is possible because the brother who died in his sleep had 1 more Ramadan than the brother who died through jihad fi sabilillah. Can brothers move? It's cold outside so that we can make some space, for the brothers who are coming in. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said he had 1 more Ramadan than the brother who died through jihad fi sabilillah. My brothers and sisters, this is an opportunity to get closer to the Almighty Allah and enter Jannah. Those of us who have cars, from time to time send our cars to the shop, right? So that the brakeman will be checked, the engine oil will be checked, and all this stuff. And after that, we expect the car to function well. Ramadan is that spiritual workshop that the Almighty Allah has given us for us to check the engine levels of our iman, the engine oil levels of our iman. Ramadan is that time of the year that the Almighty Allah has given us for us to check the brake band of our disobeying the Almighty Allah. Ramadan is that time of the year that the Almighty Allah has given us for us to check the accelerated part of our obedience to the Almighty Allah. Ultimately, we expect this body physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically to function better after the month of Ramadan. Nobody needs to tell you that you need to get better in the month of Ramadan. You know that this is the time that the Almighty Allah has given us for us to get closer to Him. Do not let Ramadan pass by without you being amongst those who get closer to the Almighty Allah. I think Abu Hurairah narrates a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad said, may his nose be grounded on the floor, may his nose be dragged on the floor, may his face be swiped with the floor. And the Sahaba were like, who is he, Ya Rasulullah? Actually, 3 people. And one of them, the Prophet Muhammad said, anybody that Ramadan sets in and then he doesn't get the Almighty Allah to forgive him, meaning he's lost. My brothers and sisters, the Almighty Allah, when He gave us the month of Ramadan, the fasting of the month of Ramadan, He made it in a way that it's so beautiful, it's so encouraging, it's so I'm lost of words. It's so appetizing. If you go to Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 183, the Almighty Allah said, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. If you take this verse, you have 3 key portions in this verse. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu is one portion. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum is the second portion. La'allakum tattaqun is the third portion. What it means is, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, O you who believe. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Fasting has been made incumbent upon you, same way it was made upon those who came before you. Second portion. La'allakum tattaqun, so that you gain taqwa. If you pick these 3 portions, all of them have one key word in them. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, al-iman. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum as-siyam. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ التَّقْوَى. In this verse, you have 3 strong words. Al-Iman, Al-Siyam, Al-Taqwa. Iman, belief, Siyam, fasting, Taqwa, God consciousness. The scholars of Tafsir are asking, why did the Almighty Allah bring Siyam, fasting, between Iman and Taqwa? Why did the Almighty Allah put fasting between Iman and Taqwa? The Almighty Allah, when He said, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, O you who believe, that in itself is a motivation from the Almighty Allah that it is those who believe who have time to fast for the Almighty Allah. That in itself is a crown on your head that if you find yourself fasting, it is a sign of belief. It is a sign of Iman. And you know that قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, verily it is the believers who are successful. So the Almighty Allah is giving you that recognition. The Almighty Allah is giving you that acknowledgement. The Almighty Allah is giving you that certification that the fact that you have that intention and that you want to engage in fasting in itself is a sign of Iman. Wouldn't you want to put that crown on your head? Wouldn't you want to take advantage of this gift that the Almighty Allah is giving? That irrespective of all your shortcomings, your iniquities, your bad deeds, your whatever background you have, the fact that Ramadan is coming in and then you're willing to fast, the Almighty Allah is ready to put all these things aside and say, you are a believer, you are my servant. And it's only the Almighty Allah who knows who His true servants are. And Iman is not written on nobody's face. No. مَا وَقَرَ فِي الْقَلْبِ وَصَدَّقَهُ الْقَوْلُ وَالْعَمَلُ. And Iman is what is established in your heart, and then your body parts emphasize what's in the heart. That is why I want to make a statement here. You know, sometimes I have this
controversial statements that I make. You find some people, you meet them. Sometimes I meet them at international conferences, and the person says, I'm a Muslim, but I'm not practicing. Sometimes it goes into my head. I'm like, no, I'm trying to process this information. It doesn't add. It's like you're saying you're a citizen, but you don't obey the laws of the country. That's what you're saying. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying this to mock them. But I'm saying this just to draw their attention that when you say you are a believer, when you say you are a Muslim, when you say you have Iman, yes, it's in the heart, but then the actions need to emphasize what's in the heart. It's like you go into an exam and then the teacher gives you a question and then an answer sheet, and then you leave the answer paper blank. And then the teacher asks you, why did you leave the answer paper blank? You said, my answer is in my head. You're not going to fail. They're going to kick you out of the school. So, al-Iman is what's in the heart. But then again, the body parts, what give out that fragrance of what's in the heart. That is why hypocrisy is a very dangerous thing in Islam. You express Iman outward, but inward there is a problem in there. So Iman, whatever is in the heart should correlate with what is in the face. Whatever is in the heart should correlate with what the hand does. Whatever is in the heart should correlate with what the feet does. Whatever is in the heart should be that fragrance, should be that sign, that signage from you. But then again, the reality and the truthfulness of Iman is not known by anybody except the Almighty Allah. Fasting. Nobody knows the fasting person except the Almighty Allah. That is why he said, fasting is mine. And I'm the only one who knows the reward of the fasting person. I have traveled across the world a bit, and I've seen Ramadan in different parts of the world, and wallahi, it is a testament that Ramadan, it's only the Almighty Allah who knows the reward of the fasting person. I grew up in Ghana. In Ramadan, the highest number of hours we could fast is 12 hours. Throughout my life, 12 hours. Fajr is around 5:30, and Maghrib is around 6:15. 12, 13 hours. Then I traveled to Niger to go and study. It's the same 12, 13 hours, but then sometimes in the heat of the summer it's 120 degrees and people are fasting. Sometimes we'll have to put ice cubes in our cup like this and put it on our heads. But the people are fasting. People will hold bottles of water, sachet water. It's not that they're drinking, but then they're pumping their faces and their bodies with it. And there is no Ramadan that the ulama will not come out on television or radio and say, today people should break their fast. People should ease down on their fast because people are dying. Then I come to America. 2019, it was fasting for I think Arafah. You know, in Ghana, my fasting is free. I just take a couple of dates and then water and I'm done for the day. I come to America, Michigan, and we start fasting and it's 7 p.m. and the sun is still looking at me. I was like, yo, wait. 8 p.m., sun is still up. 9 p.m., sun is still up. And I said, yes. The Almighty Allah said, He is the only one who knows the reward of the fasting person. Why? Because fasting is a secret between you and the Almighty Allah. Listen, you could have your sahur by Zuhur, you could go to a restaurant, eat, come for iftar at Maghrib and say, oh, today Ramadan picked me up, man. Who knows what you did? Nobody. I remember when we were growing up, sometimes we put some water in the kettle for wudu. We go into the washroom as if we're going to clean ourselves up, and then we drink all the water in the kettle, and then we come out and you're like, no, today the fasting has been tough. Nobody truly knows the fasting person because fasting is a secret between you and the Almighty Allah. At-taqwa, God consciousness, is also the same thing. Nobody knows who that person who is God conscious except the Almighty Allah. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. We're speaking about the month of Ramadan in general and the closeness we get with Almighty Allah in the month of Ramadan. And we spoke about the verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran chapter 2 verse 183, where the Almighty Allah has given us three key words: Al-Iman, Al-Siyam and Al-Taqwa. We spoke about Iman briefly, we spoke about Siyam briefly, and At-Taqwa is God conscious. If you look at the verse itself, it says لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. The word لَعَلَّ in the Arabic language means maybe. But in this verse, it doesn't mean maybe. It means tabbas. This is a certainty. If you fast with Iman, then there is a certainty that you get the result of what? At-taqwa. Al-Iman is a secret between you and Almighty Allah. Fasting is also a secret between you and Almighty Allah. At-taqwa is the result from the Almighty Allah, and it's also a secret between you and the Almighty Allah. That is why the Almighty Allah brought fasting in between al-Iman and taqwa, because Iman sirrun bayna al-abdi wa rabbi, wa taqwa sirrun bayna al-abdi wa rabbi, wa siyam sirrun bayna al-abdi wa rabbi. Meaning, you need to have that discipline for you to go through the month of Ramadan. You need to have that God consciousness. You need to have that belief that this is what the Almighty Allah wants from me. And inshallah, the Almighty Allah is going to make a way for us. The Almighty Allah gave us Ramadan as also a social contract. Today, we are here thinking of what we're going to do in the month of Ramadan. What are we going to eat? What kind of programs we're going to have? Some people in other parts of the world are thinking of something differently. Will they even have a place to pray in the month of Ramadan? How are they going to have sahur and iftar? Some time ago, there was a television program, and a man from Somalia called, and his question was, Sheikh, is my fasting accepted if I have sahur but I don't have iftar and I don't have sahur? Is my Ramadan accepted? Meaning, he doesn't have iftar. He can't break his fast because he doesn't have the source of livelihood to break his fast. My brothers and sisters, we need to have this thought at the back of our minds that whatever luxuries that we are in today, whatever peace of mind we are in today, we have brothers and sisters in different parts of the world who are struggling. But that struggle does not deter them from being upright Muslims and getting closer to the Almighty Allah. If you are thinking of where to get the next meal, someone is thinking of where am I going to be safe from bullets and bombs. If you're thinking of what kind of meal I'm going to have for iftar this Ramadan or sahur this Ramadan, somewhere that they've not eaten for 3 days. Ramadan. Fasting is by default for them. That's their life. Fasting is default for them. We need to remember the mercies of the Almighty Allah on us. Anytime we think of our problems, let's think of other people whose problems outweigh our problems. If we think of our problems, let's look at the mercies that the Almighty Allah has given us that outweighs the mercies that He's giving other people. That way we will be appreciative of the ni'mah and the mercy that the Almighty Allah has given us.
But if we are always fixated on our problems, on our challenges, we will never be able to see the ni'mah that the Almighty Allah has given us, because we are always fixated with our problems. But other people's problems, when you hear other people's problems, yours is child's play. Yours is child's play. And don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling the challenges or the problems we are going through. No, don't get me wrong. But then we need to weigh. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, في العام المجاعة, the year that there was famine in Medina. Anytime they're able to cook food, it is he himself that goes around feeding the poor people of Medina. After he finishes feeding them, he comes to his table, and his servants had brought him, some kidney, some liver of the animal. And Umar bin Khattab asks them, where did you get this from? And they say, from the animal that we slaughtered. And Umar bin Khattab asks one question: did you give every Muslim a piece of this that you're giving me? He said, no, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, send it back. La khayra fi Umar. There is no goodness in Umar if he eats the best part of the food and then he gives bones to the poor people. Umar bin Khattab, during Amul Majaa, who eats bread and fat. Fat. The animal fat. That's what Umar uses to eat with bread. It got to a point whereby his tummy was giving him some sounds. Krr, krr, you know that sound. And Umar would tell his tummy, صوتي أم لم تصوتي لن تذوق اللحم حتى يشبع أطفال المسلمين. Whether you cry or you do not cry, you will never ever taste meat until the kids of the Muslims are satisfied. When Ramadan comes in, it is that time that the Almighty Allah brings us back to reality. People who live in advanced worlds, where food is not a problem, where we are so wasteful that after our programs you go to the trash bin and you see food in there. That's how wasteful, and it's even in Muslims, even Ramadan. Just check this. After iftar, see the kind of waste we throw away. We spend the whole day fasting, and then we come at iftar and then we waste food. Other people are somewhere in the world. Access to water, it's a challenge. During the Gaza crisis, a family had to make use of a gallon of water, I think, for a week. A whole family, gallon of water for a week. And see us when we go to perform wudu. Some of us, when they perform wudu, it's as if they wash themselves. Their whole body is wet because they just open the tap. It's a ni'mah you have to do. Other people do not have. So Ramadan is that wake-up call for you and I. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين وانصر إخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم آمنا في أوطاننا وفي سائر بلاد المسلمين. اللهم آمنا في أوطاننا وفي سائر بلاد المسلمين. اللهم إن كان رزقنا في السماء فانزل، وإن كان في الأرض فاخرج، وإن كان بعيدا فقرب، وإن كان قريبا فيسر، وإن كان يسيرا فبارك لنا فيه برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.